We are live. I actually know how to invite people on this. I think I can only have like one person on there. I don't know. We're day one back home. Thank God. I wanted to sleep in my own bed so bad, and I could barely get out of it this morning. Just woke up 2 hours. It's depressing. That's okay.
Yeah, I can remember that feeling, being in the hospital. Like I had to work extra hard to make sure I was home before Christmas.
Right.
But I had to be able to like get myself into my wheelchair. I had to be able to get myself off of the wheelchair onto the toilet. You know, they had some markers I had to hit before I was allowed to go home, and I pushed super hard. Luckily, I had a lot of upper body strength.
Right.
Yeah, Muff Top, I just wanted to thank you for inviting me, man. I don't often get a lot of invites, and I appreciate it from you, man.
Yeah, man, I like it. Unfortunately, when you're like active in the comments, I usually have a full panel. I'm like, well, shit.
I just say, I hope I've earned the privilege to be on here, man. Especially for how long you know me.
Yeah, man, I like you. You got good information and catch me up. You know, you're good, dude.
Thanks.
Okay, now that the circle jerk is over.
Circle jerk.
Everybody.
Yeah.
I'd call it the round table at this point, Patrick.
Can we talk about how close we came to, Teotihuacan like 2 nights ago?
Let's do it.
While everyone was staring up at the sky with their mouth open and drool coming out of their mouth going, ooh, ah. The people who were in the know are like, ah. This solar storm, if it would have hit us differently, it could have taken the grid down.
I agree.
I'd
also seen some things that could also have been HAARP. Have you seen that? I don't know how true that is, but
I mean, if it was a solar storm, I mean, you know, it's even worse than that. It's the after effects of an EMP, especially if it's hitting other nations.
Right.
And you go ahead.
EMP. Republic of Michigan feeding 6,400 cows. Not true. Yeah, there is a bigger one supposed to be coming. So if you don't have your stuff in some Tech Protect bags, you probably ought to.
Yeah, there was a guy came on. His name is like Sunweather or something like that. At Sunweather.
Yeah.
He's got a YouTube channel, and he was on with Tim Pool talking about it. And he said that gauge of storm, it only goes from 1 to 5, and this was a 4. And if it would have hit us with the right polarity facing the Earth would have pulled the solar storm into it. But because it hit like at an angle or like 90 degrees or something, it more or less bounced off. And the amount of radiation that we were getting into the magnetosphere, it only lasted for like 4 minutes or 9 minutes or something like that. If it would have happened for like 2 or 3 hours, then it would have wiped us out. We would have been shaving our mustaches and being Amish.
Have you seen? All right, so I sent you a link, Justin. They have like a little plug-in deal that I seen that you plug in your generator. Has anybody seen those things? It's
the EMP shield.
No, it's not an EMP shield. That's why I was curious of how this works. It's literally just like a little 3-prong outlet, like what you plug into your wall, that you put on the generator. And I don't understand how that would actually protect it from EMP. It doesn't make any sense to me. Like I think it's fake, like it's fake product just to sell. You know, I don't understand how. Like all that's going to do is make a closed circuit. It's not going to discharge the EMP anywhere. It's not going to take it direct to ground. It's just ground into the chassis like something else plugged in would for your internal grounding equipment, right?
The way I understand that EMP shield worked is it was supposed to be like a switched ground, but it was supposed to be like several million times a second switch on and off to ground. That way it would somehow keep from building up during an EMP. But the way that guy was describing it, EMP and the magnetic storm coming from the sun are completely two completely different animals. He said a Faraday cage, the coronal mass ejection, the what's it called? Then magneto.
Yeah, you're correct.
Solar storm. Yeah, from what he says, yeah, the solar storm from the coronal mass ejection, it'll go right past that EMP shield and probably Faraday cage and just keep coming. He said it's almost better to have it encased in plastic so the circuit can't be completed because the electricity is going to go to ground in the shortest path possible.
Right.
So if it has to go around a big insulator rather than a freaking metal cage that's going to attract it.
Right. That's why you're supposed to put it in a metal container inside of an insulated object. Right. So that way the beam goes around the metal to ground, because that's the thing that everybody forgets is to put a ground on your metal container and then have your layer that doesn't touch at all.
But I was pointing this out with a friend of mine about electromagnetic pulses. He thinks that it's a better idea to bring electric EV vehicles in society. And I'm like, look, dude, we don't have the capability or the grid to make that a reality. And number two, if an EMP hits every vehicle around the whole world, you're more likely to reset a gas-operated vehicle than a EV or a hydro-operated vehicle. And I'm just like telling him, like, dude, you know what would be the ramifications to have every electric vehicle mandated on every person in America? It would literally shut down everybody from literally driving everywhere.
Yeah.
It'd be really easy for them to prevent people from moving if everybody owned one.
Well, plus then, like, what is it, like $6-7 grand for a battery for every vehicle that's out there?
More than that.
The shittiest part, yeah, it's like 14 grand to change it. Shittiest because you have to increase the wire size so freaking fierce in this country. Because, like, there's no grid, I don't even think, on the planet that could handle that. The size of wire to carry that many amps to just one apartment building or one cul-de-sac, like, that would be some thick wire, bro. Like, I don't think they realize, and I think people that are electrically inclined probably do, and that's why it hasn't happened, is they told them it's impossible.
But I mean, you have to agree that you're more likely to restart and then reset a gas-operated vehicle than an EV, correct?
Oh yeah. I mean, you can get a carbureted engine going. You know, you could pop a clutch or whatever and get it started downhill, right? You know.
You got to have a vehicle that regular distributor, because the way an EMP is supposed to work is the magnetic pulses induce a voltage into the circuitry, and they're not meant to take that high a voltage or that many amps. And what happens is they just freaking melt. So if there's any computer whatsoever in your car, and today's modern cars, like, there's a computer that runs everything. Like, you're just not going to get that back. You're not going to, like, key cycle it a couple times and charge up the battery and get it moving again. Those computers are fried. Now, if you're freaking smart and you can build something that can control fuel injection, ignition, fuel mixture, if you can build, like 3, when they go back to the Old West, and in the 50s, he's got to build a computer chip, and it's like the whole size of the whole hood of the car. Like, if you could do that, maybe you could get a normal gas car running. But other than that, you need to be looking at stuff from the 60s.
Yeah. That's why I've been looking really hard. I don't know. I've been looking really hard at getting like a 1980s square body truck crew cab. But then I want like a separate battery system because I do want a camera on it. I do want a nice radio and then like a touch screen, but I don't want it to be attached to anything. And I kind of want to do the LS1 swap, but I kind of want to keep it carb-based for that reason. I don't know. I'm cool. That's my next goal.
I mean, what do you think, Justin?
You can run all that stuff separate. Like you can keep your 60s, 70s technology in there that keeps it actually chugging down the road, and then just have a separate battery bank and alternate. Maybe switch it over to the alternator, keep your batteries good or whatever you need. But and for your radio and your cell phone charger and all the creature comforts, it wouldn't be hard to do.
Well, they're all 12 volts. It's not like you got to have
that's-
some weird separate system. Like if you go back into the 30s and the 40s, maybe you come across some 6-volt stuff, but it's all 12 volt. Like you can put a modern radio in an old car. They even have ones that look like they belong, like they look old, but they're a modern radio with Bluetooth and all that. That's pretty cool. But when it comes to the cars in the 80s, it's the electronic distributor. That's why I was saying you got to go back a little bit further to the 70s to get points and condenser.
Well, and the thing is also the other issue I have with the EVs and even the hybrids. Most of those components, yes, are Chinese based, but the more we keep producing stuff that's actually wasteful than actually being reused in America as a gas operated vehicle. My issue is where foreign entities, especially China being one of them, I mean, theoretically, they could just shut down our system if they wanted to.
They have a backbone to a lot of PLCs, which is the control for a lot of things.
Yep. I mean, they theoretically could just shut us down if they wanted to.
You could shut so many things down. It's unreal. The big thing is, you guys know what I do, wastewater treatment plants, natural gas, and things like that. Those are all controlled with PLCs made in China, and they all have a backdoor to them. Water valves, you just shut off clean water, and you shut off gas, and maybe it can get either A, heating gas, or B, driving gas, diesel, whatever, in general. I mean for 2 weeks in the middle of winter, and you get so many dead bodies. It's unreal.
Now, let me ask you guys this. I mean, I know we get a lot of stuff from China. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm guilty of it. But what do you think of our market with Vietnam and Vietnam being an ally, even though it's a communist nation? It's actually more pushed to the States, and now it's actually going against China. What do you think of them?
I think it's in the right direction. I'm cool with Vietnam and Taiwan, and I'm kind of getting a little bit iffy on Mexico now because I think that's more cartel controlled and probably still China backed. But yeah, anywhere that's not China, I'm cool with it.
I mean, what was it, like a week or two ago? I just saw it wasn't Vance. I forget who it was. I think it was Pete Hegseth. Pete Hegseth was out in Vietnam and actually talking with the Vietnamese government, saying, "Look, we'll give you F-16s, and we want to make a good trade deal. We want to be an ally." And the Vietnamese government was like, "Yeah, we want to be an ally with you guys. We don't want to be with China anymore." So I think we're actually making a really good relationship with Vietnam.
Yeah, I suppose that.
Well, I think it would be what's the word I'm looking for? It would be really, really bad. Negligent. That's the word I'm looking for. It would be negligent of the United States government to not have some sort of chip production in the United States. Because I don't want to trust anything that has to come over on a plane or a boat. Because during WW Trace, what Muffin likes to say, anything coming from overseas is fair game.
I mean,
even if they are producing it and sending it exclusively to us,
Uh-huh.
I think
a certain amount of it isn't going to make it through.
Right. I think the backup plan for Taiwan is we were going to evacuate basically the chip manufacturers here. I don't remember what they were saying in that plant, but that should probably just be active.
No, but didn't we just spend like billions of dollars on starting not just, but starting the plants in Arizona and in Texas for that shit?
So you're coming in real soft. Just,
Oh, didn't we spend billions? Didn't we spend billions of dollars starting up chip facilities in Arizona and Texas here?
well, I think they're currently being in production. I don't think they're actually operating yet.
Oh yeah, they're not going to be operating for for a little bit longer.
And it's not just as easy as putting up a building. There's certain things that they've had to do in Taiwan over the past decades, learning how to build chips. Like the environment of the rooms have to be just right. It's not just so simple as like just setting up a couple of machines and a building and being ready to go.
Yeah, they got to be hermetically sealed. I think with all those small circuitry, you don't get any shorts from like copper dust and shit. Yeah, it's very expensive process, not to mention getting all your machinery over there and then people that actually know how to run it.
Well, getting those machines dialed in is no fucking joke either. Like what they're doing on that microscopic of a scale is incredible. Like it's not easy.
Right. Very good machines, probably engineers. That's the shitty part. 12-volt Cummins, best engine for survival. Q, maybe. Diesel Cummins engine is pretty swappable with a lot of shit, but I'm also not a Cummins guy, so.
Yeah.
It's all about electronic ignition in those newer cars. You got to get away from it somehow. Like the old military diesels that'll run on freaking engine oil, peanut oil, engine oil. The oil that comes out of transformers. If you want something to survive the apocalypse, that's your deal right there.
Yeah.
I mean, here's the thing.
You got to get an old deuce that'll eat anything that you pour into it.
Yep. I mean, here's the thing, though. I mean, people are complaining about global warming. I mean, to a certain extent, I do kind of agree that there is some somewhat aspect of so-called global warming. But you cannot argue or complain that the two biggest nations that's more polluting the environment than anything is India and China.
Yeah.
I mean, what? The United States is like, what, number 5?
Yeah, we're like the cleanest production because of our EPA.
Yeah, but they're polluting. Their massive amounts of pollution are to sell us shit. Like if we're doing it ourselves, we'd be up there at the top of the list too.
Yeah, if you get EPA,
like
producing country in the planet.
You know, those heavy population countries are heavily populated because all we do is buy shit in our country.
I mean,
right, China doesn't give a fuck.
I mean, off top, I don't know if you can show this. If you do a simple search on the internet, look up red algae in China. Like their entire rivers and oceans are literally covered in red algae.
Yeah,
that's how polluted they are.
Yeah, it's disgusting. Guardian Prepping, your new name for me, man. I appreciate you stopping in.
There's this game you can play. You look at Google Maps, and if you zoom down to a street level view of anywhere in India, doesn't matter where, there'll be trash.
Yeah.
Was it? I just saw recently this week. In India, apparently, they do a festival where they literally are slinging fucking cow shit at each other. I shit you not. That's actually a thing in India.
I don't think I could stand the smell of India to be. Oh,
they're literally throwing shit at each other.
That has to smell like a boys' locker room mixed with a sewage plant all the time.
I mean, I can't believe how bad India has gotten these years.
Yeah, but remember, we do need India to be on our side of the race. They seem to be going back and forth, but I think they're probably allying up with Russia, which means the fact that it's China, even though they hate China, but if they align, we're in trouble. We need India for the population game and manufacturing.
Mm-hmm.
Is muffin real bad for everybody else, or is it just me?
Well, I hope it's not real bad.
Patriot, can you hear Muffin okay? Or is he all garbled up?
He's kind of like his feet's coming back and forth sometimes.
Yeah, Muffin's a little up and down.
A little gargly.
I'm gonna I'm gonna pop out and pop back in and see if it gets any better.
Well, let me just put this in front of my chest here. Is that any better?
That's a lot better.
I'm kind of moving my phone around because I don't want to hold it in the same spot.
Yeah, that is better. Outstanding.
Now I can't read the comments.
That's right.
You got two other guys. Make them read the comments.
Yeah.
We'll read them. But off top. So back to Vietnam. Like most of the products I've actually bought over the years that are made in Vietnam, it's 511, Condor, and there's various others out there that I've encountered. Even brand. You remember those Brandon Fire pouches I showed you?
Yeah.
Theoretically, I think they're made in Vietnam as well.
From there that I've seen.
There's a lot of textile in Vietnam, like a lot.
And most of it gets shipped to Europe or the United States or other places.
Yeah, I dig it. I think that Vietnam is a very good choice and ally, and I'm kind of glad that I'm not glad that obviously everybody's picking sides and stuff, but I think that pretty much all of the baselines are drawn for WW Trace.
Oh, yeah.
And now we got this stupid war in Ukraine that's still going on. I mean, I'm sick and tired of the Russians invading that country.
Yeah, it's just a pick of a resource.
Well, the thing is, I don't know if you've been seeing it off top, but like most of the units that are getting out there, they're actually going to surrender or they're going to be, giving up and saying, "Oh, look, we'll fight for the Ukrainians." And it sucks to be a Russian soldier because there's two things that can happen. If you give up or you surrender to fight for the Ukrainians, if your ties have family in Russia, your family's actually in jeopardy then.
Yeah.
That's how bad the Russian people and their government does on their own people.
Well, yeah, that is good. They're just cogs in the machine for them.
The only thing that I've seen coming out of that war that actually interested me was that the vehicles were getting stuck in the freaking mono wire. They're going back and forth with mono wire drones so much it looks like freaking tumbleweed. And the vehicles can't even drive in certain areas because there's so much
Uh-oh, did we lose Pat?
No, we're still here.
Okay.
But no, yeah, the whole war in Ukraine, man. Pat, you there?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay, no, I just want to make sure I'm not talking over you because I'm hearing backfeed. But no, with the war of Ukraine, I think it's going to get worse over a period of time because the Ukrainians are losing their more and more men. And not just because of that, it's because right now more NATO countries are actually, they're not pushing back. They're actually encircling, saying like, we're going to be the last resort if this is going to spread more to our borders. And I've also looked in this other area. You guys know where the North Atlantic is, right? The North Pole.
Mm-hmm.
The Russian military, and I kid you not, this has been going on for about 3 or 4 years. I've been looking into this. They've been actually extending more of their territory above near Canada and other parts of Europe, close near Iceland and Greenland. And regardless if you don't like Trump or not, I get it. But I do agree with one thing. If we don't have a naval military presence there, then the Russians theoretically could take over Greenland and Iceland. That's why Trump wanted that, because it wasn't just to take over a nation and take its independence. No, it was also the fact that we do need a naval presence there, because if we have a presence there, that means the Russians can leave that area alone.
Yep, I think that's calculated. I think that's a chess piece that is going to be very important here directly.
I mean, what do you think, Pat?
My wife was just telling me that the Germans just called up all their 18-year-olds to come do military training.
Oh shoot.
Yeah. No, they called them all up to go do
Physical.
their physical fitness.
Yep.
To go get weighed and their height and everything like
All
that.
18-year-olds and up that are like within duty age. Yeah, I think that started yesterday or today. But yeah, they're going through their entire population. So
They did it well. The way that it was is that so they're setting it up like they're actually calling them all in to like do like that, but then they're gonna do kind of lottery style the way that America's set up if we start our draft.
Kind of like
They're
the
taking it a little bit
MEP
of a step
stations.
further.
yeah, I did.
Kind of like they're sending them over to the MEP stations like we do.
Yeah, exactly.
To get
They're
weighed
sending them all
weighed
to
and
MEPS.
tested and all that stuff.
Yep, they're sending them all to MEPS, and I know Poland said it before, but they reiterated it last week again, being like, we wouldn't mind jumping on that bandwagon.
Yeah, I know 3 countries last week, 2 or 3 I seen put out basically wartime rations to stock up on food and whatnot. So everybody knows it's popping off. I don't know why they're glossing it over and prettifying it for the American people. Like we're there.
And my thought is that the countries around Ukraine are tired of throwing all their material into a black hole, just watching it disappear into Ukraine and either get blown up, sold, or left. So they're deciding that maybe Ukraine might be a lost cause, and that throw up a ring around the Ukraine and make sure that if it does fall, then the Russians can't go any further. They're just going to
That's what a lot of
meet
countries
so much
have
resistance, it's not even worth it.
Yeah, that's what a lot of countries have done. Like, there's been countries that are bordered with them that have basically, like, kind of always had, like, like minefields and obstructions along that border that are like, let's go put some extra over there.
I mean, my biggest concern is it's for the people of Ukraine. I mean, I get it. Yeah, a lot of people don't like this war to begin with. I mean, I agree 100%. Thing is, war is inevitable, especially if a neighboring country has its own intentions of doing harm or evil on another people. When it comes to this country, though, if it falls, then I mean, I just have to say it. I sympathize for the people of Ukraine, not the questionable politicians, but just the people in general, especially their military trying to take back what was actually their land.
Yeah, 100%. I feel for the people of Ukraine. I even feel for there's obviously some innocent people in Palestine too. I feel for them just as much as the people of Ukraine. But the reality, the fact of the reality is that their politicians fucked around, and now they're the ones that are going to find out.
Yeah.
And do they bear some responsibility? Like the people of Palestine, they say, well, they voted in for that government. All the Ukrainians voted their government in too, and all the corruption, and now they're finding out.
Well, now there's no voting because of wartime powers. But I got to bail, y'all. See you.
I'd
Okay, boss.
I'd say a little bit differently though, Pat. Ukraine, yes, could be theoretically be questionable, corrupted, but I argue this: Ukraine is actually also a somewhat of a democracy because it is actually a parliament, whereas in Russia it's full authoritarian. You don't have a say what you want to be voting for. Ukraine at least has that right to actually vote for something in. They even got their anti-corruption laws, believe it or not. They actually went against corruption. They already just passed it and vote and actually made a thing where you can't have any corruption systems anymore in the government.
I mean, that sounds great. I'd like to see it, work in practice.
It's working in practice. It's taking time, but it's becoming a thing now. As far as I understand, yes, it's a questionable nation to be supporting, but Ukraine, I have to say it's the last resort against Russia. I mean, they're literally at the border edge between Belarus and the Russian Federation.
I think one thing the Ukrainian war taught us is that Russia's a paper tiger. If the United States had the fucking balls, I think we could